the sound of bathroom sink, her mother would be so proud. Get done a deed and there's a line to go pee, but the bathroom looks like a war zone.
Welcome into episode 46 of Phired Up, presented by the Belly Up Podcast Network. My name is Mike Giletto. Joining me, as always, is Dom Console. Dom, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. Listen, there's a lot of action going on around the MLB right now. So for the special occasion, we are joined by Brad from the Pesky Report. Thanks for joining us, man. How you doing?
I am living the dream. So happy to say that we have 162 baseball games, and we're not getting like some shortened games either. Like there's no seven inning doubleheaders either.
So, like real baseball.
I was surprised about that. Apparently, the players love the 7-inning doubleheaders. The fact that that went away, it really surprised me.
I totally get it. It saves the arms when you're playing a doubleheader, but the boomer in me, I want the 9 innings. I went to a 7-inning doubleheader last year, and I got robbed because of a rain out.
Yep.
I spent $400 to go sit on top of the Green Monster, and it was supposed to be a 9-inning game, and it got rained out, and then it was made up the next day, and it became a 7-inning doubleheader. I was so upset.
That sucks. That sucks. And no ghost runner on second anymore. You know, you don't start to
Actually,
go ahead.
They're talking about bringing that back.
Are they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I must have missed that. Is that
They came out today, I
announced
think, right?
Yeah.
Did it? Okay, I missed
Just
that.
announced that
I
today.
missed that news. But you did mention it before we get into today's baseball stuff. You did mention it. The Green Monster. My co-host Dom was at Fenway, his first time ever this past season, right?
Yeah. So 2021. Yeah.
Okay.
Was it July or August? I think it was August. Yeah. August of 2021. Yeah. First time in Boston. First time at Fenway.
What'd you think?
Unbelievable.
Really?
Unbelievable. It's like walking into like 1925. Like it's and I mean that in the most respectful, like best way possible. Like it was a totally different experience. Like we sat in center field, and it was a little hard to see the monster like the whole game, but it was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. It was incredible.
Yeah. I went to my very first game, and this is actually one of the most incredible stories that I had, is that my very first game I ever went to was the day before the bombing.
Oh,
wow. And I, like, the day the bombing happened, I was walking into work, I got the news, and I was like, whoa, I literally was just walking down Boylston Street where the bomb exploded. But my very first game I ever went to, I somehow just picked the right game to go to, because I got to go down on the field. I met some of the players. I got to walk the field, like around, not on the grass, but I got to take pictures in front of the Green Monster. I got to take pictures in front of Pesky Pole. And I was just like, I was a kid in a candy store, honestly. Right. And walking, let me ask you, when you walked in there, when you walked up the ramp, did you get goosebumps when you saw the field?
Yeah, of course. I mean, but I'm somebody who gets goosebumps like, even I've been to Citizens Bank Park 100 times. Like, it's different because I'd never been there. And it's obviously a historical park, and like, just being a new baseball stadium in general is, But yeah, I mean, definitely. Like I said, you walk in and it's like, it's you're not in 2021, 2022 anymore. Like, you just kind of like. You kind of see the steps or the seats from above, and like you see the rafters and like things like that. So I mean, it was definitely a way different experience, something that I wasn't expecting. So in a good way.
I totally get it. So back in 2013, like I said, first time I ever been there, goosebumps. Yeah, I kid you not. Every time I go to Fenway, I still get goosebumps when I walk up the ramp.
Of course.
I try to go at least 5 times a year, and every time I go, I swear it's goosebumps.
Right. And I don't know how many baseball parks or stadiums or really any stadiums you have been to outside of Boston, but like here in Philly, there's the arena section. Like we have all of our stadiums are together, as where like Fenway, it's like you're literally walking on the street and like you look up and it's like it's right there. Like like when you walk in, it's like you're walking. I don't. What's the street behind the Green Monster?
Is it
Whatever that
Jersey
little
Way? It's not Jersey Way.
whatever the
fuck,
little
why am
street is.
I'm drawing a
Yeah.
blank.
Well, whatever the little street is has like a bunch of bars and like we hit a
The
couple of
House
those
of
bars.
Blues and
Yeah. Whatever that bar on the corner. I forget the bar on the corner.
right next to Lucky Strike.
Maybe I don't. If you knew the name of it and you told
Lansdowne.
me. Yeah. That place
Listen,
is
to be-
I have
amazing.
no idea.
To be
why
fair, Dom was very intoxicated that weekend,
Yeah.
so he doesn't remember much.
Yeah,
Hey,
so
It was
You're
his
in
it was his
Boston.
bachelor party.
right.
If you're in Boston, you're supposed to be intoxicated, bro.
Right. So, but even that like little street like behind there with all the bars and stuff, like it's just like look here. It's like you park in a parking lot and you walk up to the stadium. Like there, it's just you're walking on the street and like there's vendors everywhere and there's just people everywhere and
So
stores and you just walk right in from the street.
I was telling Mike last night while we were talking. I've been to 3 ballparks outside of Boston.
Okay.
Only 2 of them I've been to for games. I've been to Yankee Stadium. I saw the Yankees take on the Diamondbacks. I've seen the Red Sox and Yankees at Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium, even though I'm a Sox fan, it's not a bad place. It kind of looks like a mall from the outside.
Right.
But I've been to Citizens Bank Park, and
Okay.
I went to Citizens Bank. Backtrack. I went to Wells Fargo back in 2018 during the World Series, and I saw Metallica there. And then when my girlfriend at the time, we went there, I was like, I got to walk around this place. Like you got Wells Fargo. What is it? Lincoln Field? Is that
Lincoln
what it's called?
Financial Field, yeah.
Field,
Financial. And then you got Citizens Bank Park. I don't give a shit about football. So she was a football fan and she was just sitting there flipping it off because she's a Pats fan. But I'm walking around and I'm just like in awe, dude. It was the first place that I'd seen another stadium outside of Fenway Park, and I was just like, wow, this place is fucking huge.
Yeah.
And I ended up going to a Red Sox Phillies game back in 2019. Super awesome place. Your fans are dicks, but
We take that as a compliment.
Yeah, we take that with pride.
well, the fun fact was like I was talking shit, as a Red Sox fan, and we had a guy called Mitch Moreland who we called him Mitchy Two Bags, and every time he came up, I was like, "Let's go, Mitchy Two Bags." Then some guy would razz me back. He was like, "Mitchy Strikeout," and I was like, "Okay, you got me there, whatever." Then we won, so
Right.
I was just like, "Nah." But beautiful park, honestly. I was over kind of in between right field and first base. Bryce Harper was right there. It was a beautiful park. But my favorite park I've been to so far is Marlins Park.
Okay. I've heard it's it's kind of like an amusement park itself, like kind of.
I wouldn't say it's an amusement park. It's beautiful. It's just in a bad area.
Yeah, and I've heard it's like a cartoon, like not like a cartoon, but like it's pure entertainment, like kind of like the Dallas Cowboys. Like you go there for for entertainment. Not so
I've
much
never been for a
game.
game, so I couldn't say
Right.
that. I went there for a tour, but I just don't understand how they don't have more fans there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they struggle to put any seats in that place.
And actually, I also wanted to mention. So last year, when the Red Sox traded for Schwarber, he correct me if I'm wrong, but like he missed like the first like 2 weeks, right? Yeah, the game he went to was actually his first game.
oh, nice.
So
Okay, there
they
you
played
go.
Baltimore, yeah, and it was like a huge ovation for him. Like people went crazy. I think he had a couple hits that night too, but yeah, that was the game that we wind up going to. Dude, it was so fucking hot too. Like we have humidity down here, but like for whatever reason, dude, like people in our section, like diehard Red Sox fans, just like, yeah, we got to leave early. Like it's so we stayed till I think like the end of the 8th, and then we want because they were up big, so like we just cut loose and
Then
went to
you
the
hit the
bar.
bars. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
See, I'm not a bar person, so I stay for the
Right.
games, and then I'll stay until the end. I walk the streets until the end. I always go to the store. I leave almost every game I go to with a baseball, not like a foul ball or anything. I go to the
Right.
store, I buy a ball because, I get the memento.
Yep.
That ball has an authentication sticker that says that it was a ball that was used in that game. So now I know, hey, that's my ball. I've been to this game. So
Right.
it doesn't tell me any information on it. It just says, yes, this was the ball used on this game. So
Yeah, I respect it. Let's kind of get into today's game, right? A lot of stuff going on around the league. I guess I kind of started with the big trade that happened. I guess that was today, right? Matt Olson to the Braves. Clearly, it doesn't. That would make me think Freddie Freeman is not going to go back to Atlanta, right? I mean, that's kind of the obvious thing at this point.
everybody in our crew is pretty much thinking that he's going to the Dodgers. And then for some reason, the Toronto Blue Jays are coming out of the blue and they're just like, hey, we're here. You have a dual citizenship. Why don't you come up to Toronto? So now they're waiting for Freddie too. I hate that. I don't want Freddie going to Toronto because Toronto is already scary.
They're a fun team. I'll tell you that. They are a fun team.
Now, the other thing that's scary about Toronto is, I don't know if you guys heard, but Canada has banned any athlete from crossing the border who is unvaccinated.
Oh, okay.
So there are players both on the Yankees and the Red Sox. Just found out that Xander Bogaerts was not vaccinated. And Chris Sale had announced last year, I'm not sure if he's vaccinated now, but he had stated last year that he was unvaccinated. And so there's like two big pieces right there.
Yeah, that matters inside a division. Yeah, inside the division.
Exactly.
That's huge. Yep.
So I made the post over the week, and I was like, this is how the Blue Jays are going to win the East.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that actually kind of like leads me into my next question. Like, obviously being a Red Sox fan and having the Red Sox podcast and stuff, like, how do you view the rest of this division? I mean, you have the Yankees, the Blue Jays, I mean, Tampa, I mean, and even the Red Sox, like all four are very strong teams. I mean,
I just got to say, I enjoy the fact that you didn't mention the Orioles.
Well, listen, I want Cedric Mullins to be a Philly. So we need them to be bad.
Yeah, Cedric Mullins is not going to be an Oriole for much longer.
Yeah.
John, I'm surprised
he's not going to be a Philly either. So
you never know. Dombrowski's he's the type of person who will pay no matter what. Which I'll get to your question, but I actually have a question for you guys because you guys are Phillies fans, and we know how Dombrowski is. I want to ask, what's the deal with your ownership crying poor? And then going out and getting the guy that spends the most money on players.
Well, I would say I would ask that same question because we don't have the answer to that.
No, yeah, we don't have the answer. But the thing is, like, I don't know where that came from because he did go out and spend $330 million on Bryce Harper. Like, he's willing to spend the money.
And Zach Wheeler.
Right, and Zach Wheeler.
For Dombrowski.
For Zach Wheeler. So he's willing to do it. I guess
and you guys got Realmuto too.
Yeah, right. Realmuto, they paid a bunch, so I think he's willing to do it.
I think it just depends.
I think it depends where they're willing to allocate the money towards. Like they have zero effort into fixing the bullpen, and it seems like this year they're actually trying. I don't know if I love or hate the moves yet that they've done to the bullpen, getting Brad Hand and Yuris Familia, and then before the break, who was it? Corey Nebel they signed. So they're trying to do stuff in the bullpen. I don't know if those moves are going to matter, but I think it's more where they're allocating the money to. That's a big issue.
So to answer your question, the one team that actually there's two teams that actually kind of scare me in the East. It's not the Yankees either. It's actually the Toronto Blue Jays and the Tampa Bay Rays. If it wasn't for like a couple losses that the Blue Jays had at the beginning of the season, I think that they would have whooped the shit out of us and say the wild card game or, a division series. They would have won the East. They would have won the American League.
Right.
But Tampa, the only reason why I say Tampa scares me, and it's simply because of what they have done. They don't pay a lot, but for some reason, they're so pesky, no pun intended, but they do their thing with like a $93 million payroll,
Yeah, I respect the hell out of Tampa. Absolutely. For that, just being competitive every single year.
Now imagine if they actually spent money.
Right.
I don't know if they can in that market, really.
Well, if they left that shithole called the Trop, maybe they would. I mean, imagine having a World Series played there. You know, you get
We saw it in 08.
Yeah.
you get a pop up and it just like it bounces off the rafters and whatever.
Yep. We
We
saw
had-
it in 08. Yep. Absolutely.
We had a game last year where it hit the C ring, so they called it a home run. It was like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
Right.
it's dumb.
Like, but Toronto scares me. The Yankees, I mean, you heard the saying, the Mets will Met, the Yankees will yank, you know?
Well, also speaking of the Yankees, how about that trade? What was it, yesterday or
Last
today?
night.
Last
It
night,
was
yeah.
literally like 11 o'clock at night last night. I got a notification on my phone. It says Gary Sanchez has been traded to the Twins. And I'm like, what? That's all you're giving me?
You're right.
That's all you're telling me? It was John Heyman too. So I'm like for what? What's going on? And then I want to say it was probably about 20 minutes later, we're all going crazy in our chat. And it comes out that it's Josh Donaldson, is Isaiah. I don't know the kid's name.
Yeah.
Finer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who they
he
traded
got-
for the day before.
Yeah, he got traded from the Texas Rangers to the Twins, and then he got traded from the Twins to the Yankees. And I don't remember who the catcher was, but they sit Urshela and Sanchez over, and I'm just like, why would the Twins want Sanchez?
Right, that's a win for the Yankees. I mean, Sanchez has been awful the last like 2 or 3 years, right? I mean,
Sanchez has been defensively bad. Last year he had a down season for his batting average, but he's been just poor defensively.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it just didn't make any sense. And then you get Josh Donaldson, who's like 36 years old. He's got a $50 million contract. The Yankees now are paying $86 million between 3 players. You got Stanton, you got Cole, and you got Donaldson. And the other thing you got to think is just like you have Gallo, Stanton, Donaldson, and Judge. How long are those guys going to be out on the field? Like how long are they going to spend time on the IL?
And I think Judge is a free agent soon, right?
Right. And that's another thing I've been bringing up to. I'm a Sox fan, but I can talk baseball with Yankee fans, you know?
Of course.
And we have some followers that are friends of the podcast and they're Yankee fans. And I was like, what do you think the plan is? You know, like you're paying Cole $300 million. You got Stanton until 2028. So like, what do you think the plans are? And then now you just locked up Donaldson.
Right.
He's got, I think it's 2 years. I believe it's 2 years. It could be 3.
No, I think it is too.
But I mean, like, you're still paying him next year. You got him. You've got Stanton. You've got Cole. There's a problem. And then you got to think they need a first baseman. So if they go out and get someone like Chris Bryant, they're going to be paying a pretty penny there too.
And even going back to Sanchez real quick too, like I read, I guess it was today because the trade was last night, that they plan on like making him the DH and catching every now and then. So I actually think that could probably help him, you know, stay healthier, focus more on the offensive side, you know, and obviously, like you said, he's a very sloppy catcher defensively. So, you know, maybe that works out. Who knows?
We'll see.
As somebody who watches the DH, obviously being in the American League, what do you think about the dual DH for both leagues?
The universal DH.
Yeah, the universal DH.
I love it.
Yep.
No, I personally, you know, I don't want to see someone like, you know, I don't know what your guys' feeling is on Jacob deGrom, but I don't want to see Jacob deGrom get hurt swinging a bat.
Right.
I don't want to see Max Scherzer getting a black eye putting down a bunt in batting practice. You know, stuff like that. You know, oh, it's cool. You know, Bartolo Colon has hit a home run here and there as a pitcher, but you know, I'd rather see someone like Nelson Cruz, who's about to sign with the Nationals, pending his physical. I'd rather see him hit over, say, Sean Doolittle, you know, someone like that. It's about time. It's been needed, and I'm surprised it's taken so long.
I am, especially in a sport that struggles with offense and getting people engaged in the game. Like I wouldn't want to give the pitcher a free out. Like at 9 times out of 10, that's an out anyway. So
right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're good, man.
It's just like I said. You're giving like now you have 15 teams that could use 15 new hitters. You know, and that brings up our situation. Our DH right now is JD Martinez. Fantastic hitter, great DH, terrible outfielder.
Right.
But now he's in the last year of his contract. And what better way to, drop that contract than to trade him to a National League team? I think the only thing that like kept from getting that universal DH though is that was literally like one of the only things that separated the National League from the American League.
Right. And actually two things now. Going back to the JD Martinez part, like they say he has a great year and they decide to keep him and they don't dump his salary to somewhere else and get assets or whatever. Say he has a great year, next year it opens up his market, he doesn't have to just say, oh, I got to look at the AL. Now he says, oh, that NL team is interested because they need a DH, things like that. But I was just going to add, like, yeah, it's awesome that like Madison Bumgarner hits 2 or 3 homers a year, but like I would totally rather see a DH hit 20 homers or 25, 30 homers over the pitcher who, oh my God, he hit 2 homers this year,
Imagine what would have happened back in 2003, I think it was, if David Ortiz was a free agent and there was a universal DH.
Right.
God, I'm not trying to bring that type of shit into the universe because I'm glad that Hoppy was a Red Sox. But I mean, just imagine what would have happened.
We'll go back to
Minnesota Twins.
Go back to 06. I mean, or 05 when the Phillies had Tomei and Howard. They had to trade Jim Tomei because Ryan Howard was coming up. So imagine the universal DH then. Having both of those guys in the middle of the lineup.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Right.
Yeah. Looking at some of the other big names though, and we already talked about Freeman. But you got Chris Bryant, obviously, Castellanos, who else? Schwarber, Carlos Correa still out there. Where do you see some of these guys going, or where do you think the best spot for them are? I mean, whichever player you want to go with.
I'm going to go with Correa to the Astros. He's going to stay with the Astros.
Think so, huh?
I do. A lot of people want him to come to the Red Sox. A lot of Yankee fans want him to go to the Yankees. Dodgers fans, which is a shock because they hate the Astros and hated Correa. They want Correa as their shortstop. I just want to know like where the Dodgers are like getting their infinity amount of money. It's just insane.
Yep.
Chris Bryant, there's talks, I believe, with the Rockies right now, which is insane.
Doesn't make sense to me at all, unless he just doesn't want to win because he's not winning in that division in Colorado. You think it's a front from who? Boris?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, you also got to remember, Colorado, that thin air. That ball is going to fucking pop off the bat. Right. So a guy who's hitting, 20 home runs, he could probably hit 20 more.
Right.
Schwarber has been linked to the Rockies. And I'm just like, if he's not going to be a Red Sox, then go to the Rockies and collect all them dingers.
Maybe sign a 1 or 2 year deal. You inflate your numbers, right, and sign a big ticket next year or the year after. It's not a bad move, honestly.
Right.
I saw something with Schwarber recently, like in the last hour or so.
The Blue Jays apparently.
The Blue Jays,
the Blue Jays are also
intensifying.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys know this, but we have a saying that we gave him a nickname. It's Kyle from Waltham, and that was actually a Carabas thing. And Carabas actually just made a post just recently. He's like, "Oh, you think Kyle from Waltham was cool? Wait until you see Kyle from Saskatchewan." I'm like, I don't want to see it. I do not want to see it. I did see that Kutch just signed with the Brewers.
Yeah, the Brewers. Yep,
he did. Yep, he was good for like a year here. He was
until he got hurt. Yeah,
and then he got hurt, and he just wasn't the same. He's kind of cooked. So I'm fine with them moving on.
I hated him being on the Yankees because I didn't root against him, but I didn't root for him, and he's one of those guys that I like. But it's just. Let me ask you guys a question. You guys know about the Yankee no beard, their facial policy, their hair policy.
Right.
What are your guys' thought on that?
I'm fine with it. I get it.
That's the wrong answer.
Maybe because I don't know. I'm fine with it.
Maybe I should go. I should put my head up a little bit more.
Right.
What are your thoughts on the facial?
No, it's so stupid. No.
Yeah, it's really dumb.
See, I'm fine with.
I failed the test.
I'm fine with franchises, businesses. They're allowed to do whatever they want, but I think it's important to let guys, and even anybody in sports, let them express themselves in any way they feel that they should. And While it's fine, I'm not
So-
crazy about it.
So the reason why I'm asking you guys is like, okay, so Kutch, he was known for his hair, right?
Yeah.
He had some crazy hair. And a lot of players that went on that ended up getting traded to the Yankees, they're told, you got to shave your head, you got to shave your face, whatever. Kutch had to shave his dreads. There was an ex-Red Sox who was picked up through the Yankees, played one game for them, and had to shave his head. He had dreads. And I was just like, no, dude. Like, if I got traded to the Yankees and they told me I had to shave my beard, I'd be like, I retire.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if you're a hockey guy. The New York Islanders have the same rule.
Well, they're stupid.
It was like
Maybe
the whole
New
dread
York
thing.
I don't know.
The whole dread thing, like that's like a culture thing too, like for a lot of guys,
Yeah, it's a thing that we actually talk about a lot in our group chat, and especially when, like, say Josh Donaldson, he just got traded. He had to shave his face, and then the shortstop, I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name.
Isaiah,
Isaiah. He had to shave, and he looked like a baby. He looked like a baby. He actually looked like Sanchez. I was like, wait a minute, what are we doing?
Yes, it's funny because Sanchez looks like a baby with like 5 o'clock shadow. Like,
wait, because now that he's a Minnesota Twin, I bet you he's going to grow a beard.
Yeah.
Like, look at Clint Frazier. He's going to grow a beard. He's like, God, when he signed with the Cubs, he was just like, first thing I'm going to do is get rid of my razors.
Right. So, we're talking about free agents here. What are some big moves you want to see the Red Sox make in these next couple, days or weeks or however long it's going to take? Because it feels like it's taking fucking forever for these big names to drop.
Well, I don't know how I feel about Seiya Suzuki.
Okay, yeah, because I did see that today, actually.
He looks like he would be a fun guy. He looks like he would fit in and whatnot. But historically, unless you're Ichiro, you're not, or Shohei Ohtani is just like he's ungodly. He's like otherworldly.
Yeah,
so that's a freak of freaking nature. But outside of like those two and Matsui, so 3, you can't really you don't really see these guys coming over from Japan and picking it up and cracking it, So I don't know how I really feel because major league pitching is a lot different than pitching over in Japan. There's a lot more break. There's a lot more slide. Sliders are different, things like that. The pitches are a lot different. So I don't know how I feel about that. A lot of the people on our podcast are really like, I want Seiya. Correa would be amazing. Would love him, but the problem with him is he's injury prone.
Well, where do you fit him at?
Shortstop.
Bogarts. What about Bogarts?
Move Bogey to second.
Okay.
Or whatever. It sucks because like I personally love Bogey. Everybody on our podcast loves Bogey.
I love Bogey. Yeah.
But you got to realize defensively, he's a liability. It's the same as Rafael Devers, not as bad as Devers. Like Devers is atrocious defensively sometimes. And you move him over to second. We need a right-handed bat who could play outfield. So I don't see Schwarber coming back.
I feel like the Red Sox need pitching too, right? Like,
no.
You don't think so?
We have a lot of pitching right now.
I don't know how this. I'm just looking at it right now, and it looks like Nick Pivetta is probably your third guy right now, right?
Nope. So we have Sale, Eovaldi. We also have Pivetta. We have Dick Mountain, Rich Hill.
That's a 10 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 name.
I don't even give a shit what anybody says. Like, the fact that we got Dick Mountain probably made me we have a shirt. I don't know if you guys saw it. We just made a shirt.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
see it.
and we put him as a silhouette for the eye. And I just bought 4 of them, so I can wear it out to work and all that. No, I actually bought 1, but it's we've got Paxton, we got Waka. Not too keen on Waka, but we got Tanner Houck. We got Garrett Whitlock. All of those people can start or spot start. And then like our bullpen is pretty decent. And I honestly would like to see Pivetta be placed as the closer.
That's what we've been calling for years here.
Oh yeah, I
Yep,
forgot
yeah.
he came from you guys.
Yep.
Well, actually,
That's
real
the-
quick, trivia. Who did the Phillies trade to get
Bryce
Pivetta
Harper? No, not Bryce Harper. Papelbon.
to Washington? Yep. Another, obviously another Boston.
Red Sox.
Yeah.
Who did the Phillies get from the Red Sox trading away Pivetta? You don't even remember that name, 'cause I
Workman.
don't- yeah, it was Workman. Yep, it was Workman.
Yeah.
He pitched not that long for the Phillies. It wasn't.
Yeah,
it was,
then you guys traded
was
him.
awful.
He came back to the Red Sox, and then
Did
he
he?
sucked for
Okay.
us too.
Yeah. He was not good.
There was
Right.
another player, pitcher. Who else? We traded Workman.
Was there another player involved in that?
I believe so. Yeah.
I'm trying to look it up here on the fly. Da.
Our famous
yeah,
saying:
yeah.
"Talks amongst
Yeah.
yourselves."
Hold on. I'm looking it up.
What are the Sixers doing?
Joel Embiid was going off from what I remember.
Heath Hembry.
Oh, right.
I had the I had his face. I saw the face, but I just couldn't. I couldn't put the name on it, and I was gonna say he, but I
Yep.
forgot. Yeah, Heath Hembry.
Yeah, two guys that didn't really amount to anything with the Phillies. And Pivetta seems like he's carved out a nice little role with the Red Sox.
He was actually the game that I went to. He started.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's right.
I don't know why you guys gave him up. Honestly,
Impatience and I talked about the bullpen sucking, the pressure to better the bullpen, and I don't think they wanted to wait for Pivetta to have grow
You
into
guys
what he
made the
eventually will.
bullpen worse.
Exactly. Yep.
Plus, I think the pitching coach at that point, it just wasn't. It was like his second or third, fourth go around where it was like, we're gonna give this guy another chance. And I just think it was more of a front office thing than anything. Like, obviously the fans were fed up with him, but the fans were calling for him to go to the bullpen for so long and be the back end of the bullpen. And it's like management just didn't see it. So, you trade him to Boston, and maybe he has pitched late in games and started for you guys, I believe, right?
Yes, he's got a lot of fucking energy, man. We got a guy on our podcast who probably has the biggest boner ever for Pivetta. Like, he's literally like, Pivetta is do you know Pivetta's birthday?
I do, just because I'm looking at his page
Don't
right
say
now.
it
I
then.
don't.
I won't.
Valentine's Day.
I was gonna take a guess, but
Yeah. So he's Canadian. He's from he was born on Valentine's Day. He's such a sweetheart. And then last year he threw I want to say it was like a 3-inning relief outing. He came out and had a 3-inning relief, and he just stopped and he just pounded his chest.
yeah.
And then he was running over to the dugout. It was so fun.
Well, didn't he have a no hitter too, or close to a no hitter?
I think he was late in a game, right? I think he was 7 or 8 innings.
I think it was a one hitter or something like that.
Okay.
And then Matt Barnes came in and blew it.
Okay.
Sounds about
And
right.
the guy that likes Nick Pivetta hates Matt Barnes.
He was lifted from a no hitter. He was 6 2/3, and they pulled
there you
him,
go.
and they
That's
lost.
so shitty.
They lost 1-0.
I
Yep.
hate that.
It was in Tampa, right?
It was in Tampa, correct?
Yep. It was
Yep.
in Tampa, that shithole.
I hate shit like that. Like, Dave Roberts does that a lot. Like, and I think Dave Roberts is a good manager, but those kind of I don't know, that new baseball thing. Like, I don't know. The thumbs down for Dave Roberts.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
You said as a good manager. I'm not giving him a thumbs down as a player. Because,
I was gonna say
base.
he was a Red Sox, a big play.
He was an integral part in the Red Sox winning the 2004 ALCS. That
Right.
comeback against the Yankees.
Yeah, so a Matt Barnes wild pitch is what walked off the victory for
Yep.
for the race.
Told you, Matt Barnes blowing
Yeah.
games.
That's funny.
But in all honesty, you look at Matt Barnes from the beginning of that season last year, he was lights out. We have Bailey, who is a part of our podcast, and she's just but he was elite. And we're all yeah, but he sucked in the second half. And then she's like, yeah, but he was elite in the first. And I was like, yeah, that doesn't matter. He sucked in the second half. So
It's so hard to be a relief pitcher.
Yeah.
It is
Well, the
so
problem-
friggin' hard
the
to
problem
be a good
is
relief pitcher.
Well, the problem I have is that he sucked. He started sucking right after he signed his extension.
Right.
Like that's the worst time
Yeah.
to start sucking. Like start sucking towards the end of the season, you know, like into September, whatever. That's like it happens, you know. But find your shit in the postseason, and then they took him off the. He wasn't even on the postseason roster.
Right. And I also think like relief pitcher, like as a whole, like that position, it's just more than ever. Like now more than ever, you're asked to do way more than you ever have before. Like you have spot starts now, and you have you know, guys, relief pitchers are coming in the sixth inning because the starter threw 60 pitches or whatever, or 80 pitches through six. Like I just feel like they're asked to do more. And we back in like I'm gonna take out some names here, like Chad Durbin and JC Romero from like the '08 Phillies were good to us because like we think of those names and we're like, wow, those guys were actually pretty good, like because they were asked to do less in my opinion than what, you know, relief pitchers are asked to do now.
Yeah, and Don asked if the Phillies will end up signing anyone that would upgrade the talent, especially in the outfield. But and probably not, because instead they're going to give us back Odubel Herrera, which is awful, and I'm really pissed off that I had to see another season of Odubel Herrera. I will just say that.
You guys are being linked with Bryant because that's what
True.
that's what Harper wants.
The thing that I do like about Bryant, though, and that's probably, I don't know if he's my number one case scenario. I just like his versatility. You could kind of put him anywhere. Put him at third, put him at first, put him in the outfield. You kind of put him all over the field.
I'm sure if he signs somewhere, he's going to want, like, he wants to know where he's playing.
I'm sure he does. Yeah.
If he comes here, he's probably left field.
Probably.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Or third base if Alec Bohm
Right.
doesn't work out, because he struggled last year a lot. So
yeah, in all honesty, like I don't know, I haven't paid attention a lot to the Phillies. I've been too busy with my own team here.
not a lot of the league has paid attention to the Phillies recently, too.
I don't think the Phillies have paid attention to the Phillies.
But I do. I want to ask you guys a question because you guys are the first like Phillies crew I've talked to on a podcast. So Harper signs with the Phillies. What year was that?
That was 2018, I believe. Yeah.
So that was like
No,
right before-
2019. Sorry.
Was that right before spring training?
Yeah, it was
in
during
spring training. Yeah, it was
It was during
spring
spring training. They had the whole setup and whatever.
Yep.
And then he said that he was going to bring a World Series title to Washington.
He did say that.
Yeah.
Correct. He did say that. Which, to be fair, they did win like the following season, or, right? The
That
following
year.
season?
It was that
Yeah,
year.
That year, yeah. So I guess he wasn't wrong.
Plus, he won an MVP here, so we forgive him for that.
That's true. That's true.
You guys gave it when he first started with you guys gave him so much shit.
I don't know about shit. A lot of people thought he was being insanely fake with the pandering to Philadelphia.
He had a great first year.
He did. But he's been everything is advertised. He's been great here.
I love the Fanatic.
Yep.
Okay, the Fanatic's probably outside of Wally, the Fanatic is probably my favorite mascot out there. Him and maybe what is his name, Orbit from the Astros.
Yeah, I think it sounds about right.
But yeah, those three are probably my top three favorite mascots.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, listen, Philadelphia's starting to be known for their mascots, unfortunately.
I don't know any of your other mascots though.
Grady,
but
you haven't seen him all over the place. The Flyers mascot. He's
No, I because you guys are a affiliated podcast. I do have to say fuck Nick Foles.
okay.
Well, I thought you said you weren't a big football guy.
I'm not. So that's a lot of meaning coming from me.
Listen,
Well, I don't think you're gonna find other people who Mike and I are not fuck Nick Foles, but like I don't think we're like the biggest like Nick Foles fans in the world.
he was average. He just had an insane like
2
4
games.
Yeah, probably
I would say
games.
2, honestly.
Right.
The Patriots pass or whatever it was that he did had whoever it was through him the pass and he
Right.
ran
The
it.
Philly special.
Yeah,
Trey
the Philly
Bur-
special.
Yeah, Trey Burton. Yep, through the pass.
It was technically the Pats special, but
they dropped it when they tried to
yeah,
run
Brady
it.
dropped the ball.
Exactly.
Speaking,
True,
Well, yeah,
that's
I mean that's I kind of wanted to bring it up. So before we went on, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but like I was gonna ask you if you were a big football guy at all or a football fan at all, and unfortunately you said you weren't. But I was gonna get your take on the news that dropped today with Brady returning.
You didn't say it. You didn't say it.
Okay, we'll put the curtains back a little bit. So before we started recording, we had talked about this a little bit. One of us, I don't know which one it was, Mike or I, but we used the word retire, and Brad here was not happy with us because he claimed that Brady did not use the word retire in his
speech
post
back on February 3rd. Yep.
Right.
No, he didn't. He did not.
Hey, fair enough. I didn't catch that.
So trust me, man. I listen to a lot of sports radio, Boston sports radio, and a lot of them like analyze that
Right.
Instagram post. Like, why didn't he thank the Patriots? Why didn't he do this? Blah blah blah. And wait, he never said retired. What's going on? And then there was just one guy in sports radio. He's like, he ain't done. He coming back. He's coming back. He might take a year off, is what he said, but he's coming back in less than, what was it? I think it was 41 days. He's coming back. My thing is that I don't know if it was earlier today or early in the day yesterday or Saturday or whatever. There was a guy that bought what was supposed to be Tom Brady's last touchdown pass
Right.
at the football. He bought it for over $500,000. And Tom Brady is like, yeah, you know what? I'm coming back.
Now it's just a football.
It's just, I don't feel bad for the guy or whoever it was, but I mean, like, if you have $500,000 to spend on a football,
Dude, if I'm the people that like are doing the auction, whoever sold the football, I'm like laughing my ass off right now.
yeah, they got it for free.
Yeah.
right.
No cares.
Exactly. Yep. All right. Well, I appreciate you joining us. I know you're pressed on time. You got to get up early, right? So.
Hey, I'm here as long as you need me to.
No, I think we're good. I appreciate you coming on, though.
Yeah, get off.
Like,
No.
fuck outta here.
Listen,
All right, man.
I can only get 45 minutes to Boston. That's all we have on this show.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Listen, the Red Sox are the only team I like in Boston. The other three teams go fuck themselves.
That is true. I was a big fan of them really in the early 2000s because I hated the Yankees so much that I kind of jumped on board of the 03-04 Red Sox. So that whole run was fun.
I always liked the Red Sox, but then going to Fenway just kind of made it an even bigger thing. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the other three teams.
I want to take a peek here and see when we can get you guys on our show. Say, like, if we're playing you guys.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I haven't even looked at the schedule yet because there have been so many crazy things going on.
Right.
I'm not seeing anything for the Phillies. I'm in August right now.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think we're playing you guys. We'll have to get you on our show at some point, just to talk shop.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely arrange that. I'm looking here. I don't see it. That's not possible, is it? Don't you play every team every year?
No,
Not
you don't
baseball.
play every
No?
team. No.
No. 162 games. They can't figure out and get a series here and there.
And
Well, you
it's
gotta play each one in your division. What is
so
it,
many
18
times. Yeah.
Yep.
So
And then you have to play the same teams in your league
yeah,
twice, right?
Yeah, but we played
I
Toronto.
believe it's twice.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
the way the schedule works is you
I
do
guess,
play
yeah.
AL. You just don't play every AL team or
Yeah.
NL team if you're the AL team.
Right. Yep. Because I'm not seeing it either. Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
not
and
sure.
I feel like we played the Red Sox like the last 3 or 4 years, so it's probably going to be a couple years.
Right.
yeah,
Until we
we'll
play
see
them
each
again.
other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
we'll try.
it's
and,
always those like. No, go ahead.
we'll try and schedule something, even though maybe the All-Star break.
Yeah,
Yeah. We definitely be down.
it's always like the Phillies always play the Red Sox like those two game series like
Yeah.
like those little random series here and there. Like I think
Yeah.
last year was like the home and home, right? They played two at home
So
and then two away.
we played 2 in Philly, and then we played 2 at Fenway. All right.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on. We'll definitely arrange that. We'll be happy to do it. So.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you guys for having us on.
Thanks
or
a lot.
having me
Absolutely.
on.
Thank you.
Take it easy.
All right. That's it.
Later.
All right. There you go.
That was a lot of fun.
Little Red Sox action. It was. Yeah. We were planning on having them only for a half hour. We went 45. So.
Right.
Um.
Like you said, it's too long for Boston.
Yeah. We don't want to give Boston that much time. So listen, we're gonna get into Eagle stuff. Obviously, some news went down today, but before we get into that, let's do some Who Am I. I have one Who Am I, and in honor of baseball finally being back. Also, love the shirt. Love the shirt.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you were there when I bought it.
I was there. When you
how
bought
do
it.
we
Yep.
how do we do this?
I don't know, but I just noticed it because you propped up a little bit. That's a Spectrum City Edition type shirt. It's not like the jersey, but
Right,
it's
and
the logo. It's
what I like about it-
It's an awesome look.
Yeah, what I like about it too, it's not like a Sixer shirt, but it is.
Right,
And I could
exactly.
wear technically I could wear it to a Flyers game if I wanted to,
Absolutely.
or like
Definitely good.
because it's a Spectrum. But yeah, I mean it's my mom. I wore it in front of my mom like a week or two ago, and she she didn't say hello to me. She was like, "I really like your shirt. Is that new?" I was like, "Yeah, it's like the first or the second time I'm wearing it." She was like,
It's
"Oh,
an
it's
awesome
really
shirt. It
nice."
really is.
Also, how are you doing?
Right. Yeah. So anyway, in honor of baseball being back, I got a Phillies one for us this week.
Okay.
Right? So
Let's do it.
Clue number one. I have a feeling you're gonna get this.
Okay,
I
Vicente Padilla.
No, I didn't go back into the early days. I didn't pick some obscure name. You know this guy.
Okay.
So I have a feeling you're gonna get it.
All right.
Hopefully you don't get it in the first clue like you've been known to do. So, clue number one: I was drafted by the Phillies in the 9th round of the 1998 MLB draft.
Okay.
All right. I went to college at USC.
I think I got it.
Jesus Christ. Go ahead.
Chase Utley.
No, it is not
No.
Chase Utley.
Okay.
You think I'd give you Chase Utley?
You never know, dude. You did feel a little bad last week.
That's true. That's true.
Don't give me that much of a softball.
Clue number three. I made my MLB debut for the Phillies on September 27th, 2003.
It's not Chase Utley. Well, he was a first round pick anyway, so.
True. Clue number four. I spent 13 years in the MLB.
Okay.
Clue number five. I also played for the Royals, Athletics, Nationals, and Dodgers.
Okay.
I was a 2-time World Series champion.
Okay.
I initially retired in 2014 due to injury, but came back in 2015 by signing a contract with the Royals.
Okay.
Nothing yet?
Not a thing.
I am second all-time in postseason pitching appearances. Only Mariano Rivera has pitched in more postseason games.
Okay. Can you name the teams again?
The Royals, the Athletics, the Nationals, and Dodgers.
Okay.
All right.
Keep going.
My last appearance came in 2018 with the LA Dodgers.
Okay.
So not that long ago.
Right.
Clue number 10. I was close to signing an extension with the Phillies in 2011, but the Phillies opted to sign Jonathan Papelbon instead. That's kind of a big clue.
Jeez. Is it Chad Durbin?
It is not Chad Durbin. Good guess though. It is not Chad Durbin.
I did bring his name up.
I have another clue that I think you'd get it, but I wanted to see if you got it without those clues. Or
Dude,
without
I have
that last clue.
So it's a pitcher,
It is a pitcher.
a back end of the bullpen. Oh shit! Give me another clue.
He had a nickname of, and I don't know how well known this nickname was, but he was the Bridge to Lidge. Does that?
Oh,
ring a bell?
Madsen.
Ryan
Madsen.
Madsen. Yep,
Yeah.
it is Ryan Madsen.
Okay. I was thinking Jose Mesa, but then I was like, no, he actually pitched
He was
in the
way
late
too early.
90s.
He was
Yeah.
earlier. Yeah. But Ryan
Yeah.
Madsen. Yeah, there you go.
That's a good one. That's a fun name.
Yeah, I didn't want to give him anything like a setup guy because I feel like you would have got it if I went.
Yeah.
Setup.
Now that I'm going through the clues, I should have gotten it
Yeah.
or way earlier.
Yeah. So I don't think that was me stumping you per se. Like,
No, that was a good one.
That wasn't an insanely hard one. I felt like that was doable. So
Yeah. I feel like if I had more time, because like I say it every week, but we're like on a time thing here.
right.
So like,
Yeah,
we got to kind of have to come up with an answer.
Right.
I feel like if I sat here for long enough, like Murray Craven and who was the other guy for the Sixers last week?
Speedy Claxton.
Yeah, if I was here for like 3 hours, I wouldn't have gotten either. So I feel like if I was here for a while for Madsen, I would have eventually.
You would have came up with
Yeah.
Madsen, absolutely. All right. Let's go into some Eagles stuff. So Eagles signed Hassan Reddick, 3 years, $45 million, 30 guaranteed. Camden native, Temple University.
Yep.
Coming home, right? I think this is a great signing. He has the 5th most amount of sacks in the last 2 years. I think it's 23 and a half.
Yep. This is 12. 2 years ago was 12 and a half. Last year
This
was
year's
11.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I love this move. I wonder if this is kind of the beginning to moving maybe a Fletcher Cox. I don't know how much you really need him anymore. I mean, I guess Hassan Riddick's really probably more of an edge guy anyway, so maybe you
Right.
do keep them both. That's just a lot of money tied up in your defensive line. But I mean, this is kind of Howie Roseman's thing, and we always shit on Howie Roseman, but he loves to build from the trenches.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Offense and defense. Yeah.
The old cliche. So he loves getting his defensive guys. He loves getting his offensive linemen. So I mean, I you know, a to Howie Roseman for this one.
Yeah. And listen, you build that way. If you have a good pass rush, your cornerbacks play better. You have a better pass rush, your linebackers play better.
Which they all
you have a
stink,
good
by the way,
pass
the
rush,
linebackers.
right?
Except, did you see this today?
Singleton.
Yep, they are not tendering him. He will be a free agent. Thank the fucking Lord, because he stinks. He's awful.
Yeah. I did see that. But what I was saying, like you have a good pass rush, your safeties play better. Like it kind of changes a lot of the game. I love the signing too, and also I didn't see a lot of people like pointing it out. I think the money was good. Like I think it was very fair. It might have been a little under compared to the way he played the last 2 years.
Maybe the hometown discount a little bit,
right? So listen, I went through his stats today. Like his first 3 years, just playing out of position, playing
And
like
he's
the
young.
middle
He's
linebacker.
still learning the NFL. Yeah.
Yeah. I think his rookie or first 2 years he played middle linebacker. When Jordan Hicks moved over there, he moved to the outside. And like 2 years ago, like I said, 12 and a half sacks for Arizona. Went to Carolina last year. We saw him last year in that game. I think he might have had a sack or a couple QB hits, but against the Eagles. But like I said, 11 sacks last year. It's a really good signing. I mean, what I love about the Eagles too is like the way that they're going to build the defensive ends too. Like you're gonna on one side you're gonna have Reddick and Josh Sweat, and then on the other side you're gonna have Brandon Graham and maybe a guy they draft, to replace Brandon Graham eventually, or whatever. What they do with Fletcher, we'll see. I would like to see him stay, and really allow him to play his game, because last year he obviously voiced his displeasure with the defensive coordinator and physically and even the things he
But
said.
he's still here though.
No, I'm saying if he stays.
Right. No, I'm saying the coordinator's still here. Like that.
No, I know,
still,
but I'm saying I'm hoping if he stays, I'm hoping they fix it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I got you.
So they learned from that mistake. But if he doesn't, I mean, we had a little bit of a disagreement on the 16 beloved Eagles. I thought he should have been on there, but that's
Fletcher?
because I like him. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I just think the last year or two people have soured on him,
For
especially
sure.
with that big contract and
I got you. That's why I don't think I really fought you on it much,
right.
but because you had a point there. But I'm just talking about my own love for him. One of my favorite Eagles. I think he's a great leader. Those days that Jalen Mills would wag his finger, and Fletcher would grab him by the face mask and say, "Get the F back on the bench," things like that. They're the things that I like about players. So, it would suck to see him go, but it's probably going in that direction. So, yeah. But again, the Reddick thing is great to me so far. So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. And he's still young. I think he's 20.
He'll be 28.
Yeah, 28. So I think it's a good move.
I think I saw today.
What did he turn? 28.
28. Yeah, or 29.
Yep. Yeah, he'll turn
28.
28 September 22nd. Yep.
Yeah.
So he's still young. So yeah, I mean, I think Howie Roseman hit a home run here.
Listen, I would absolutely love them to draft a defensive end too in the first round if we keep
absolutely.
those picks, or even draft like another. Like I said, when the edge rushers and the pass rush gets there and they play well, it helps out the corners. Maybe they draft a rookie cornerback, and he plays well,
Right.
With that. So we'll see.
Absolutely. Do you have anything else Eagles wise? I mean, I know there've been a couple big moves in the in the NFL. Did you want to talk about Deshaun Watson maybe at all before we move on?
Yeah, sure. I mean, let's get into it.
So he got off on all, poor choice of words, but he got off on all the criminal charges.
Right.
right? So he doesn't. So I mean, I don't know if the NFL is going to suspend him. My guess is eventually they probably will.
Yeah. He'll get
but
like 4 games or whatever it is.
but at least the criminal stuff is settled. So it's a trade is probably going to happen soon. Maybe,
Right.
who knows? But I would, now that he got cleared with the criminal stuff, would you want Deshaun Watson, or do you still kind of want to stay clear of that?
It's really tough because it's sometimes it's really hard to separate on field and off field. Listen, and that's the thing. It's like these people that don't want him, I understand, and then there's the people that do want him, who say, yeah, we pay him to the owner pays him to throw touchdowns, not to be a great guy, and like, you know, and then you hear these people say about how he's a locker room cancer and this, that, and the other. Like that is so false, because like, I don't know if you remember, it might have been JJ Watt's last year. There was 2 years ago, running off the field in the last week of the season, runs up to Deshaun Watson and says, "You know, I'm sorry for this really shitty season. You deserve so much better." And that's JJ Watt. Like that's a Hall of Fame defensive end who, you know, is well respected in the locker room, around the league. You know, that's somebody that's saying that to Deshaun Watson. So I don't know if he's a locker room cancer.
No,
he might be a total penis.
I was going to say,
know.
I think it stems from the allegations. Like, I don't know if anybody knows about his locker room presence. I think they.
I'm just saying what I've seen.
Right now, they just kind of group them all together. I think.
Right.
Like.
True. So like, and listen, we go back to the whole Vic thing too. Like, listen, Vic. As much as I love dogs, I mean, dogs are a little different than humans. Like, you know, unfortunately.
I don't even know if that's apples to that's apples to oranges to me.
What do you mean? Like,
they're just two different situations. Like,
well, I'm just talking about a guy who
Vic actually did his time.
Right,
he served jail time, and and like you said, it's dogs versus humans, and it's allegations versus conviction.
That's what it is. That's the So like that's the thing, is like, no matter what kind of case it is, whether it has to do with sports or not, this whole mainstream trial thing, like, or settlement, like this whole big thing, like, to me, it's really hard to have a total, you know, opinion on something if you're not in the courtroom or wherever it is. You know, you don't know all the because like there half of the women that have come out aren't even named. So like it's kind of hard to have an opinion on something when you don't know all the facts either way.
Right. Yep.
So maybe they do stay away for that. Maybe they don't. I don't know. It just does. But it also doesn't seem like he wants to be here anyway. So because he's only taking, I think, visits from, because like I think teams are going to visit, right?
Okay.
I think it's
maybe
I think the Panthers and the Saints want to meet him first.
And
he'll
take a meeting with the Panthers, but not the Eagles?
Yeah.
The fuck do the Panthers have?
They got a decent offensive line, a decent defense, and good weapons. I mean, he's from the country too.
What's in Carolina?
I think it's less pressure.
I mean, maybe
young coach. I mean, that's here too, but
I just like
better weapons.
I can maybe see Miami because it's Miami. I can maybe see LA, like places that are like big that he wants to go to. But Carolina versus Philly, and he'll take a meeting with Carolina.
It might just be a less pressure thing, you know. I mean, but then again, he wants to go to the Saints, or he's meeting with the Saints as well. So like, you know, they love football down there too. So like, it's you know,
absolutely,
it's a weird situation. Like it's really hard to say yes, I want him, or no, I don't want him, because I don't know all the facts, and like I don't know which way to go with it. You know, I'm actually very torn with it, because again, it's really hard to separate his play on the field from the person that he is, and like if he is that person, I don't want him in my locker room, but if he's not, then like I do. So like, it's hard. It's tough.
Just don't know. Yeah, exactly. All right.
What do you think?
What do I think? Well, I tweeted it out. There's somebody on Twitter, and I forget who it was, that said, the upgrade from Deshaun Watson to Hurts, or I think I have it backward, from Hurts to Watson isn't big enough of an upgrade to worry about off the field stuff. It's like, first of all, let's not pretend that that
was a verified account, like somebody who
I forget who it was. But like, let's not pretend that they aren't leaps and bounds apart. Like Deshaun Watson, you could argue, I don't know if I would, I think he's close. You could argue is a top 5 quarterback in the league.
Yeah, sure.
I would argue Jalen Hurts is a bottom 5 quarterback. In the
I don't know about bottom 5, but
He's
he's definitely
close.
on the he's on the ladder of the 15.
Right,
Of the
exactly.
15 of the 32.
Yeah, like it's leaps and bounds different, and it is a clear upgrade.
Yeah.
So if
I
you
think it's the
he's
same
a-
guy that tweeted out when he in that tweet. I think he tweeted out about the locker room cancer that he is.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we don't even know if that's true. That's you literally
Right.
them just grouping in the
Right, because that's the first time
allegations.
I've ever heard of that.
Right, exactly. So, all right, I got nothing else here. You want to move on because we're it's gonna be a long show. We got a lot of other stuff to talk about. Before we get into, I don't know really. I guess we'll talk about Little Sixers. But before we get into that, I did want to mention the bracket that we have going on.
Yes.
So, oh shit. Hold on. Let me go to our page. You know what, Dom? Talk amongst yourselves before while I'm pulling this up. Hold on.
Well,
I
finished.
I forgot to prepare here.
We finished. Me and my wife finished Ozark. I don't know if
Okay.
I said that yet on last week's show. I don't think I did, but it was a good season. I'm excited for it to get some answers. So anybody or anybody listening or watching who is into Ozark, we could talk about that. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm watching Bel Air too.
How is it?
So I love Fresh Prince. I know you love Fresh Prince too.
Yes.
It's darker. It's more serious.
Right.
But I actually kind of like it. I'm hooked on it. I watched every episode so far. I think I have one left, but it's
Okay.
pretty good so far.
Nice.
There's a little bit of funniness to it, but like it's mostly
That's
very
on
serious.
Peacock, right?
Yes.
I'll have to check it out.
Yep.
So I do have it up now. So the first matchup started with Brian Dawkins against Brian Westbrook. Battle of the Bryans. Dawkins took it 83%. No surprise there.
Yeah.
Darren Sproles lost to Jason Kelsey 92-8. Fucking blowout. And then
I bet your boy's happy.
Yep,
Yeah.
guy that was
That's the last time I bring him up.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he doesn't need any more time. And then, I mean, you quoted. I'm gonna quote you and say you said he was
Okay.
up there with Bernie. Brandon Graham beats number 3 Randall Cunningham 53%
does.
to 47. We're dumb as a fan base. So moving on.
Or maybe you're just wrong.
No, because we're dumb. Because here we go in the next battle: Nick Foles against Reggie White. Nick Foles wins with a very nice 69%.
Hey, listen, I don't agree with it, but Foles brought something that Reggie White didn't.
True.
And I'm just trying to think like everybody else. I think I did vote Foles, but
Of course you did.
I don't remember. Honestly, it was.
It was a
kinda been
while.
Yeah, it was a while.
That was
I don't
last
really
week
remember what
when
I did. Yeah.
posted that. Yeah.
It's a lot of days in between now and then.
Yep. Round 2 of the Phillies bracket now. Mike Schmidt beat Cole Hamill 76%. Not really a surprise.
I actually thought it'd be a little higher. Like I thought
You thought it'd be more of a blowout?
Yeah.
Really? I mean, people saw Hamill. More people saw Hamill's, I feel like, than Schmidt.
On Twitter. Yeah.
On Twitter, yeah, the younger
Right.
generation. Jimmy Rollins beat number 5 Richie Ashburn 89-11. It was
Okay.
never close.
Yeah.
I was surprised this one wasn't closer. Number 6 Ryan Howard against number 14 Jim Tomei. Ryan
Yeah.
Howard won with 78% of the vote.
I actually downplayed about how much the city didn't like Howard. I mean, I guess I was wrong.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I am surprised that Harper didn't win against Utley. Utley won with 71% of the vote. I really thought Harper would win that.
Did you go Utley?
I believe so. Yes,
I did not.
You didn't.
No. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I think I like them both equally. Maybe Chase has a little bit of an edge, but I think I went Harper just because I knew Utley was gonna win. So I
Yeah,
tried
you want,
to give
you
him
want,
the
you want to
sympathy
show some
vote.
love. Yep,
Yeah.
I get it. So let's move over to the Flyers bracket. Now this is where I almost rioted down my street. Because it got very, very dicey.
But it eventually,
Bernie Pratt ended up winning 62%
yeah.
to Wayne Simmons. But
It was early.
There was a time where it looked like Wayne Simmons was going to take it, and I almost
Yeah.
lost my mind.
Listen, I voted for Bernie.
Well, I'm glad to hear it.
I sometimes I like to mess around and kind of mess with things a little bit and fuck things up, but I couldn't.
Yeah, no,
I couldn't do that.
I appreciate that because
Do that one for you.
I don't know what would have happened if Wayne Simmons won. Well, I don't think I'd be doing the show right now. I'd be very upset. Eric Lindros beat Rick Tocchet 85%. 85%.
Wow.
I was surprised Lindros won by that big.
Well, I feel like the young kids that watched Tocchet grew up to love Lindros. So
Yeah,
like,
true.
When you remember more of hockey, like when I was growing up, it was Richards and Gagne and Forsberg, like those guys. And
Right.
but I remember more of Giroux's career. Like, so I
Yeah.
would probably go Giroux.
Speaking of Giroux, he destroyed Simone Gagne 87%.
Yeah. Figures. I'm not surprised.
Don says we're in the same region of the belly up bracket. So I actually
Yes,
don't want
we
to
are.
mention this. So Don from Drunk on Broad, there he is. The belly up is doing a podcast bracket.
Right.
So we are going up against the Unbearable podcast for the first round. First round voting is Tuesday at I believe noon or 3 p.m. It's one of those. But check out their podcast account, Belly Up Media. I think it's Belly Up Media now.
So check out which.
Belly Up Media. It's going to be.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
Yeah,
not
at
the
Belly
guys
Up
we're
Media.
going against. After you
No,
vote
no,
for us,
no.
then you check out their podcast. But-
Right. So vote for us. Vote for us against the Unbearable podcast.
Yeah, we'll
Chicago
we'll,
Bears podcast,
we'll retweet it.
and then you can go check out their podcast. But first, vote on us.
Yeah,
All right, and
like
then
I said,
and
yeah.
then Don says we're in the same region, so maybe we'll go against a Philly on Philly matchup. There.
I'm surprised they didn't do that in the first round.
I'm a
That
little
would've been
surprised
fun.
too. Yeah, I'm a little surprised, honestly. So did I say Drew and Gagne?
Yep.
Drew won 87%.
87, yeah.
And then Bobby Clark and Danny Briere, the 2-10 versus 10 seed. Bobby Clark wins with 55%. It was close.
Yeah.
It was very close. People love
I'll be-
themselves some Danny B.
I again it was a while ago, so I think I did go Briere.
Yeah.
For fun.
Okay. For
Yeah.
fun. Well,
Because I knew
you made
Clark
it
was
really
gonna win.
close. You made it really
Yeah.
close. And then let's go to the Sixers side of the bracket. Allen Iverson. Sixers fans, you did the right thing. Allen Iverson won 89% of the vote against Tyrese Maxey. I got a little nervous that maybe Maxey would win because he's new, he's fun, he's killing it. But
A real point guard.
right, exactly. Number 4, Julius Irving against number 5, Wilt Chamberlain. Irving won with 81% of the vote.
Yeah, makes sense.
Surprised it was that much, honestly.
I'm not
No,
because he should have been
Okay.
number 2. But-
yeah. And then
I'm sorry.
I thought you said it was going to be the last time you brought him up like 20 minutes ago.
It's been 3 straight weeks.
Yeah. Number 3, Joel Embiid beat number 6, Moses Malone, 87% of the vote.
Yeah.
Not really surprised. And then again, Sixers fans, you did the right thing. Number 2, Charles Barkley beat number 10, James Harden, 88%.
Yeah, makes sense.
So it all makes sense. So that's the end of the bracket, and we'll break down the next round next week.
Right.
So did you want to talk Sixers or Flyers? Where do you want to go next?
Let's go Sixers. Let's
All right.
let's
'Cause I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much there really is. I mean, the only thing that I'll say is that what a shit show of a performance against Ben Simmons and the Nets last week.
Yeah. And honestly, what was the first game? The Bulls this week?
Was it?
I believe it was the Bulls. We were on, so we couldn't watch most of that. I watched most of it. I believe you did too, but we missed maybe the end of the third on.
Right.
It was a pretty good game for the most part. And then they played Thursday. They played the Nets, and then who did they play Sunday? Yesterday, Orlando.
Yep.
I
it was
will
Orlando
say
overtime. Yep.
Those 2 games were very, very sloppy. Even the Orlando game that they won in overtime. It just kind of seems like how many games did Harden played before the Brooklyn game? It was 5 or 6 games.
I was 5. I think I think 5 or 6. It sounds
Roughly
about
5
right.
to 7 games, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They played a style where it was very fast, move the ball around, score in the transition, and then it just seemed like after the Bulls game, the game against Brooklyn and the game against Orlando, it just kind of seemed like they went away from that. It was just very much walking the ball up the court, a 2-man game, where where Embiid and Harden kind of run things. Harden played awful against in those 2 games. I think he came up really soft against Brooklyn.
Yeah, he looked uninterested. Like,
Yeah.
again, that's been the biggest knock, and one of my biggest knocks against him is he doesn't show up in big games. Now, you can say what you want about a random game against Brooklyn
Right, in the regular
March,
season,
a big
yeah.
game. Like, I get that, but sometimes he just takes nights off. So
Yeah. And listen, I mean, it's an 82 game season.
Yep.
It happens. You
Yeah,
just don't
for
want
sure.
it to be that game.
right.
But yeah, I don't know. It was just a very sloppy game. I think it was like 3 for 18 or 3 for 17. Just, careless with the ball. Even against Orlando, it was just, and again, it could just be a chemistry thing. Playing a different style. Like I said, those first 5 or 6 or 7 games, it was an up tempo kind of thing. As where these 2 games were just very slow and so it was a different kind of feel. So maybe it's just a chemistry thing. But even guys like Maxey, like when you change your style from like this up tempo where him and Thibault really they succeed in that quick game.
Right.
Get the ball in everybody's hands and shoot like in transition. Just playing quick. That's how they thrive, like him and Thibault. So and watching the game tonight, I think I watched the whole first half, and they kind of went back to that a little bit, which I'm kind of happy to see. But again, like that Thursday game, it was like I'm gonna read you a tweet actually,
Okay.
that I quote tweeted, that really summed up, the Thursday game against the Brooklyn Nets. Let me find it.
They did end up
find
losing tonight. I don't know if you said that through all of it.
Oh, did they lose?
Yeah, they lost
I didn't see that.
114 to 110.
Okay. What did do you have the stats in front of you?
Yeah, I do. Yes. Who do you want?
What did Embiid versus Jokic? What are...
Embiid put up 34.
Okay.
Jokic put up 22.
Okay.
Yeah, Embiid put up 34. Harden put up 24. Maxey 19. Tobias 10. Thibault 9. Niang 8.
Okay. So I mean, listen, I don't think it's really gonna hurt his MVP chances, but I kind of wish they would have sat him against Orlando and rested him for tonight. Maybe it's just just as a whole team, it's really tough to play on the road and come back home and 2 days in a row.
Yep.
But hold on, I'm trying to find this tweet that summed it up perfectly. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is from Provolone Joe. He's actually he calls the sports radio stations here, so he's actually like a pretty popular guy. So he says, after the Thursday game against the Nets, unpopular opinion, I'm glad the Sixers are facing adversity like this now. They need to know this is the key part. They need to know that they aren't just going to roll on teams. Maxey is a puppy, and sometimes puppies pee on the carpet. Harden went soft, and Joel is only one man. And listen, that's so true.
There's some truth to that. Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You can't expect look, listen, Maxey's gonna have great games, but you can't expect him to be the Damian Lillard where he's been in the league for 12,
He's
13
20
years
years old, 21 years old.
Yeah, so he's a kid still. He's still learning on the fly, And I broke it down a couple weeks ago, just the difference between last year and this year, how much he's had to change his game, and you appreciate it. But
yep.
The last 3 games, I mean, you're kind of seeing him his not his game be exposed. But like I said, it's that high tempo which gets him 25, 26, 27 points versus 6, 7, 8 points. So,
right.
Let's kind of hope they go and they stay in that direction.
Right. Exactly. So anything else you got Sixers wise? Because I think we're gonna move on, right?
Yeah, I think that's just because I could go on and on, but
yeah, exactly.
we're crunched on time.
Well,
here,
yeah,
so.
and at this point, we're just kind of waiting until the till the playoffs. Honestly,
yeah. There's
they're a playoff
games
team.
left.
Let's just say they're a playoff team.
Yeah,
So.
let's just hope this style that they succeed with the high tempo is played in the playoffs.
Right.
But we can't really talk about that till then. So
exactly. So, all right. I don't really know how much Flyers I want to get into. At this point, every loss is a good thing. Honestly. Drew plays his 1000th game on Thursday. I believe me and you will both be there.
yes.
So I'm a little excited to see that. It's going to be an interesting night. It could be his last game as a Flyer. It could be his one of his last games as a Flyer because chances are he moves before the deadline on I think it's the following Monday or Tuesday.
What's that? The 21st.
The 21st, yeah. So
right. Well, I actually wanted to propose a question to you.
Okay.
It's actually kind of a two-parter. So, obviously with the possible end of Giroux, and us being there at the game. Well, maybe it's not a two-parter, but to you, like, when okay, actually, yeah, it'll be a two-parter. The first part is how are you going to feel, you think, when or if this happens where he's traded, and honestly, how are you going to feel?
Um, it's such a loaded question.
Yeah. I mean, and we don't need this whole in-depth.
It's
If you want to go in depth, go for it. If not, don't.
like the first word that comes to my head, and maybe this is fucked up, like relieved that it's like finally over, and that it signals a new chapter, and it maybe kind of shows that the front office sees that they need to be recouping asset or getting assets back for these rental players. Ultimately, it sucks Drew couldn't win here.
Right.
That's the part that kind of stings. He got very close in 2010, but he wasn't a captain here. At that point, he hasn't made a deep run into the playoffs really as the captain, so that's kind of hurt his legacy in Philly. So it's a mixed bag. It's a lot of emotions, for sure.
I mean, I definitely think it's going to be weird. I definitely think there's going to be some kind of sadness. But again, I kind of agree, like a relief where, all right, let's hit the restart button and let's do this the right way. But what I was really going to get to, the second part of the question was like, have you ever felt a way, like who were players that you felt like, oh my gosh, it's over, like when they were traded, like from here, like it could be anybody, it could be a guy that was here for 5 minutes, it could be a guy who was here forever. I mean, I got a couple guys that come to mind.
The first one, and I'd have to think about it longer, but the first one that comes to my mind is Timonen with the Blackhawks.
Okay. I'm not even just Flyers, just any any of the 4 sports that we cover.
I know. I can't really. I mean, McNabb's one that got brought to mind, but he got shit on by the city so much.
Right.
I talk about that all the time. The raw deal he gets here.
Yeah.
McNabb comes to mind.
I'd have to say Rollins and Utley.
I'm trying to think.
Rollins and Utley, it was like definitely a weird time.
Maybe
like,
Utley more so
like,
because I feel like, I mean, Utley was still playing. Like when Rollins left, like he wasn't really at the top of his game, right? I don't remember.
I don't know if Utley was at the top of his game either.
Not at the top of his game, but he was still productive.
Yeah, I mean, he played longer.
Right, yeah.
Or maybe not overall as a career, but he played, he retired more recently than Rollins did.
Right.
But I mean, it's just like these, guys that you grow up with, and it's like, holy shit, like it's over, like
and maybe Cole Hamels. I mean,
yeah, true, yeah,
I mean, he might be one.
He threw the no-hitter, and then I was just curious what I think Timonen's a good one.
Carlos Ruiz might be one because he was like one of the last ones to leave that team. Like when he finally left, he was kind of like, all right, this era is officially over.
Right. I'd have to say Iverson probably too was
where'd he go? Denver.
Denver, yeah, because he was still really good. Like he made a couple All-Star teams with Denver, so it was like he was definitely in.
Speaking of Denver, you could say the Brian Dawkins.
Yeah, there you go. That's probably number one.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we weren't alive for Reggie, so
right.
Or maybe we were, but we don't really remember that. I don't think you remember that, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
I mean, that was early 90s, right? Like
no, I think it was like 96 or 7.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
But still, I was 4 or 5 years
old.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to Flyers, Phillies.
Timonen is really the only one that comes to mind because like they traded.
Deshaun sucked too.
Yeah.
Because of the way it happened. McCoy too. The way they just.
Yeah, I could see that.
But yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know if there's going to be a player. I mean, I don't know if there's no one we can name. It's like Drew, or the fact that like he really hasn't had the greatest success here when it comes to a team perspective.
Yeah, so and I feel like rightfully so. And I could be missing somebody, but I really feel like we've been fortunate enough in the last 20 years or so that we've been watching sports, like 20 plus years, or 25 years, whatever. That there was never really a guy like in his diehard prime that was like I want out. Obviously, sports were a lot better 15 years ago. Like guys didn't really demand as much as they do now. But like,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm trying to think.
you don't put like Jason Worth on that list. Like nobody gave a shit
Right.
about Jason Worth. Like,
Right, he was a nice player, but like it
Yeah.
wasn't. We weren't going to pay him that money. So,
right.
but I'm even talking about like look at Harper, like a kid who's 15 who has to see Harper leave Washington. Like
Yeah.
we never really had to deal with that.
Right.
If I could be missing somebody, but like I mean, obviously Lindros was still young enough when he left, but obviously he's riddled with injuries and stuff.
Right, exactly.
So it's a
the
little
injuries,
different.
Yeah, exactly, the injuries. Yeah, I'm trying to.
So-
I mean, you could say the Carter and Richards.
Yeah,
trades.
Carter and Richards. Yeah, because they
Yeah.
coming off a year or two prior to their trade, the Stanley Cup. So
yeah, you could also say Wayne Simmons a couple years ago.
yeah, I don't know. I think he's done.
Right.
Like not done, but like he's not the 30-goal scorer anymore.
No,
And he wasn't
not
at that point. Well, I'm
Not
just
at
talking
all.
about guys in their prime. Like we've never really had to deal with other than maybe Carter, Richards, and
I was like Carter and Richards is probably it because they were still at the top of their game.
right.
And they won cups, so
They probably
won together.
They probably got even better too. Like
I don't know about Richards because Richards after that cup run he fell off quick. He was out of league
Yeah.
in a couple years.
right.
So, but yeah, Carter you could argue definitely got better. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about here before we get out of here?
I don't think so.
I mean, I guess we could talk about the Rasmus Ristolainen deal. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
think. So he signed a 5-year extension, $5.1 million per year. I was on Drunk on Ice on Thursday.
Right.
I'm sorry, not Thursday, Friday.
Friday, yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about that a little bit.
No, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I really have not watched the Flyers since like December.
Yeah.
So
Not many people do. Let's be honest.
so I can't really like sit here and say it's a great deal or a horrible deal. So like you're gonna have to give me some insight here.
Yeah, I mean, it's for what Rasmus Ristolainen is. It's an overpayment. He's maybe a top 4 defenseman that he's physical. He'll bang you.
Right.
He's not going to be an offensive. I mean, we know this because we've seen it. So he's not going to be an overly offensive guy. He makes bad plays in his own end. The analytics say that. I'm not a big analytics guy, but the analytics say it. The eye test say it. It's not a good deal for the direction of this team because it tells me they're going to put Band-Aids on this instead of trying to sell. Like, they should be selling off all their unrestricted free agents, like all their pending guys.
Right.
Sell them off. Like I get that they paid a first, a second, first and a second, and I think there was something else involved in that. Robert Hagg for Ristolainen. You're not going to get that back probably in the trade now, and they felt pressure to extend him because they gave up so much. I don't care. Like trade whatever get back whatever you can for Ristolainen. That's what I would have done. So I don't love the deal or what it signifies. But I see people like comparing it to Andrew McDonald. I don't think it's Andrew McDonald level. Because the Andrew McDonald contract, if you remember, was 6 years, $5 million.
Okay.
I believe. So it's comparable in terms of AAV, but the salary cap was $15 million less than
Right.
it is now. So it's a different deal. So I don't want to. And I think Ristolainen is better than Andrew McDonald was then. So I don't want to hear people talking about Andrew McDonald because it's not that. But
Plus,
it's an
plus
overpayment.
at the end of towards the end of this contract too, I feel like it happens in all sports. Maybe hockey it takes a little bit longer because the guys don't get paid as much as other sports do
right.
yearly. So, but I just feel like it could be a friendlier deal towards the end, like the way we're gonna see contracts kind of go up every year.
Hopefully,
yeah.
Hopefully, if the salary cap continues to go up,
Right.
hopefully, because salary cap is pretty much flat. It might go up $1 or $2 million per year for the next couple. So I don't know how much the salary cap's going to go up. We'll see.
Yeah. Also, talking about Ristolainen defense, what's going on with Provorov, man? Like all this stuff that's going around. I mean, again, it's rumors.
Yeah, he looks like a mess. Apparently, I mean, with the recent signing or extension of Ristolainen, they're talking about one of Provorov or Sanheim kind of being the odd guy out and potentially being available for trade. And then I'm hearing Provorov's not happy and things like that. And
right.
I have no clue. Like,
And again,
we
it's
saw
a lot
so
of
much
it's
potential too there, so it sucks.
right. And like you're seeing a lot of rumors of people that are not verified. And I know verified doesn't really mean anything, but like you're seeing a
Credible.
lot of
Yeah,
right, a lot of less
sources, yeah.
credible sources. So you take it with a grain of salt, but like it's a lot of places. Like
Yeah.
it's enough to be like, okay, let's keep an eye on it.
Sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire,
Yeah, true.
for sure.
If it
So,
quacks like a duck and it looks like a duck, it must be a duck.
probably a duck, exactly.
Yep.
So I think that's a good spot to end it, unless you had any sort of final thoughts you wanted to
No.
get off your chest.
No, we should probably let these people get back to their lives.
Exactly. So, listen, I had a lot of fun talking baseball. Listen, it's been so long since we've been able to talk baseball, and we got a nice 45 minutes of it. It was great. So,
Well, dude, listen, I'm going to LA in a couple weeks, and like I was shitting bricks, man. Like I wasn't gonna be able to see a Dodgers game, and like
are you going?
now it's gonna be
they home?
hopefully, yeah. So when's the season start? The 7th,
April 7th, correct?
The first 2 series I think are on the road, and then they come home the 14th, and then we'd be going the 15th, I think.
Okay.
So it'd be their second home game. So
Okay.
yeah, hopefully I catch a good game.
Absolutely.
Good. Hopefully I get to see Kershaw. I mean, that'd be a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Or Bauer if he's back by then. Who knows what the fuck's going on with Trevor Bauer?
Or even Bueller. I mean, Bueller would be a lot of fun too.
Absolutely.
So,
listen, you're gonna see a good game if you end up going.
Right.
I guess for anybody listening out there, we will have a guest joining that show instead of you, because you're gonna be out in California.
Yep.
Maybe I'll give you a call out while you're out there.
Yeah.
Talk for 5 minutes.
Yep. Absolutely.
Because that will be show number 50. So it's
right.
It's a big
I
milestone.
have to tap in. Yeah.
It's a big milestone. So
absolutely.
All right, we're gonna get out of here. That'll do it for the week. Again, go to Belly Up Media. I think it is. They changed their Twitter handle, so check them out and vote for us when the poll drops on Tuesday, and let's get us far. All right.
Yep.
So, all right, we're gonna get out of here. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Phired Up Podcast. Listen anywhere you get podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Check them out at bellyupsports.com, and we will see everybody next week.